We are rolling again at this time with William Tabanou, who's going to talk to us. We're going to answer some question and answers, and we're going to blow through these quickly because I'm doing it at the end of his long day. And here goes question number one. Are you ready, William?
I am. I hope I can do these justice. These
I'm sure you will. As a sound designer, how different was it doing a sound for a gaming than it was for a live action film? Is it similar structure to what you do for your movies, like The Great Alaskan Race?
Well, since when I talked about the working on that one game for Origin, when I first started doing post sound, I just did dialogue editing, so I didn't really get to experience the whole post process that goes with games or with gaming. So I can't really answer that. I know there's a lot more. There's definitely it's a different animal because you have there's a lot more storage of media and things that have to pop in different places and triggers and all that. So I'm not exactly sure. Like I just did dialogue editing on games, so I don't really have a great answer to that, unfortunately.
Would you like to sometime? Is that something you would want to try at some point?
I mean, yeah, if the opportunity presented itself, I mean, I would entertain it. It's just about learning, what is the post process for gaming. Yes, there's dialogue editing. Yes, there's going to be sound design and the things that you would use or you would do in live action, but I think there would be a lot more organization and just a different structure, I think.
Yeah, the difference of linear and non-linear, because you go anywhere at any time with that. Where in film we're starting from the end and finishing starting at the beginning and finishing at the end.
Exactly.
Number two, with the movies, commercials, and TV shows that you've done sound for, what was the most challenging project that you've encountered, and how would you approach the project with the experience you have right now?
Well, we could go back to the first movie I worked on for challenges, with the fact that we had the loud camera noise and it was the production audio didn't sound that great. It was my first time actually doing production sound as well. So I'd say based on the plugins, the dialogue noise reduction plugins that were available back then for the for the consumer, I guess, at the time, you couldn't do what you can do now with this plugin called RX, where this plugin RX noise reduction by Isotope really, I mean, it can truly fix dialogue. There's one movie I worked on a couple of years ago, and it was an ensemble piece, and there was a lot of rustling throughout the whole movie. And I first heard it, and when I first heard it, I went, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. It took an extra 2 weeks to work on the dialogue, and typically it takes me about 2.5 weeks or something to edit and mix the dialogue. So that plugin was able to get all the rustling, all the pops, clicks, open things up and make things not as muffled. I mean, that's also EQing, but it really, at the end of the day, I was able to fix a movie I thought was going to have a lot more ADR. So what was interesting is when I was working with this plugin, and it was when I first bought it, or when I upgraded to the version that started doing a lot of nice and neat tricks, occasionally I would laugh because I would go, wow, this is actually fixing things. I'm going, obviously you have to know what you're doing. You have to learn how to do it and, watch tutorials and stuff like that. But then you start going, wow, this is working, and we don't have to do ADR here or in this place. So that was definitely, as far as dialogue's concerned, that was the most challenging, that could be one of the most challenging examples, to try to fix dialogue. And
you would approach it with RX plugin now, if you've
absolutely
learned. Okay.
If I was able to do it again, I would definitely use the RX plugin.
And students, that was the movie Sweet Thing that was 98 or something, like 99, something like that.
We shot it in 98, and I think it came out 2000 because we did festivals. We did like the
Yeah.
Seattle Film Festival, and then we did the Cairo Film Festival. And back then, I mean, it was like, and festivals, I mean, we didn't have a million festivals back then, so it was really exciting to get into a festival. And yes, and I think it came out 2000.
That would, and you were working on that when you were 7 years old, which is to be
Yeah,
greatly
exactly.
admired. It's pretty
That's
amazing.
right on 7
Okay,
years.
what are some programs to start learning on and re-recording? I'm curious. I'm curious what program I can use to get started. What would you recommend?
Okay, I obviously have been using Pro Tools since 1995, and there's a lot of, I mean, I always say it doesn't matter what you use, it's how you use it and what the end product is. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Of course, I would say Pro Tools, maybe start with like a beginner Pro Tools setup, and then kind of build your way with that. There's quite a few DAWs out there, digital audio workstations, that you can use to complete the job. It's just about learning it. And if you're comfortable with it and it's, like I said, sounds good, it's good. Now, you may run into issues eventually, like composers usually, if they don't use Pro Tools, they will have a Pro Tools setup so they can deliver to, post sound guys like me, and deliver a Pro Tools session with stems from the score. And stems are basically the isolated tracks, the instruments that usually I request, so I can pan things in the surround sounds and I can make things fly from the back to the front. So Pro Tools it seems like at the end of the day, there's a lot of people have to get, well, they don't have to, but it's nice having a Pro Tools rig of some sort. It doesn't have to be a very expensive one, but at least you can go, hey, I can send these files to so-and-so client.
Because it's definitely the industry standard from
Yeah, it has been for years.
Has COVID had an effect on your connections with potential clients?
The only thing, it hasn't really, but what it has done, it did slow things down as far as getting actors in to record, or we did sessions, on Zoom or wherever, or on whatever. So it did slow things down, but since I'm a smaller place, it's I would say my guidelines. I mean, I have to do everything. I have to clean everything, like clean the mic, the pop screen, clean the doorknobs and all that between each actor. So there is a process since COVID started. So that slows down the process when you're actually doing sessions, and it creates more work after you work, to kind of clean up the place. But it hasn't really, I mean, thankfully, it hasn't affected me that much. To this day, it just slowed things down a little bit. We had to think things out a little more and push sessions.
Yeah, I see. Did you learn most of what you know now to do from school or overtime in the workplace?
I'd say overtime in the workplace. Yeah. You just learn that in school. What I learned with recording was I learned the basics, and then I had my mentor Brian Garcia that who I mentioned in our lecture, and so I got to kind of see what he was doing, because he was recording bands like King's X, Galactic Cowboys from Houston. So he was, and he ended up recording one of Kelly Clarkson's albums, and then Avril Lavigne's, and I actually assisted him on an Avril Lavigne record, the second one. So, you learn when you're in it. You start with what you probably should do and should not do, and then you take those guidelines and that knowledge, and just like we talked about or discussed, intern, and then you learn more, and then you really experience the job at that point.
This is a tough one. How can you assure that your end product is of best quality?
Huh, good question.
You're the one who brought up quality.
I know,
and I'm grateful for that. But
that's
now,
a very good question. Here's the deal. As you probably know this by now, but a project or a mix, is never done. It's just like a director says, my movie's never done. You just have to get to a point where what you're noticing, those things aren't things that your average person are going to notice. Because I always say, if I can open up a session after we've finalized the mix, I'll always find something to change. Or if I take it to a different dub stage, even though it's all the same Dolby EQing like I have in my room, I'm sure I'll find something else I can change. So you get to a point where like, I think this is as good as it can be. And then the rest is just like gravy if you're able to fix things.
So you're just getting it to the deliverable state, really is.
Yeah, you're exactly. And you have to be, I always say the director or whoever, producers and editors, everybody's got to walk out happy, including myself. So if we're happy and we're both happy, that's good. That mission accomplished. Now, whether it's the best thing ever, that's up to, whoever's watching it and listening. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure everybody walks out of here going, oh man, like I'm super happy with the project now. We did exactly what we came here to do. And sure, we could do more, but what is more? That's the big question.
That's also how you stay in business is have that happy ending like you did. Okay. What is something you wish you would have known before? Let me start over. What is something you wish you would have known before about being in this type of industry?
Oh, that's a very good question. I guess, well, I kind of knew the hours would be, something to deal with. Let me see. Competition, everybody knows there's competition. I mean, as far as like, a lot of people are trying to get the same jobs or whatever. So I have to think about that one. That's
a tough one, man.
That's a tough one. What would you say, actually?
I can't help you, man. I was just thinking, I don't think I could answer that. Something you wish you would have known before about being in this. Well, no, wait a second. I think you're dead right. Your first comment was about the amount of time you spend. And are you willing to sacrifice family for career? And some people are, as you know, but some people say no. In fact, I was kind of faced with do I want to stay in Hollywood and keep doing this? Or my wife was saying, well, or do we want to start a family? And I decided I didn't want to stay in Hollywood. I live literally up under the sign in Hollywood. Do I want to keep doing that? Or do I want to sort of, open my life up to children and more into family life, because she and I both are in the business, but we kind of thought there has to be something beyond this as much as we love the business. So it was a time. It sounds to me as though you have spanned that gap to do both, which I greatly admire. So I thought that was a great question.
It's not easy. I mean, I go through cycles where sometimes I'm like, whoop, 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 and
boy, do I know.
You know what I'm talking.
I ever know. I do know. How do you decide between buying a sound effect or trying to recreate or find the sound yourself?
Well, usually the biggest factor, like we discussed, is time. And also, if you run into something that sounds good, you're like, that's it. That's what I need. And then you go, what else do I need to complement to make it even better? So as far as, spending time recording something, it's more about, I'd say as far as the sound design aspect goes, it would be if we were doing, maybe getting creative with voices, whether it's like creature sounding and all that. So you can't just, you can find some sounds that'll be like zombie-like, let's say. But if you really want the performance in there, you have to play with the plug-in a lot, and whoever's the talented, or maybe you're the talent. And that would be kind of where I would go to as far as like, spending time in creating the sound effect.
Yeah, performing to playback and so on. So exactly. you can grunt and groan when the character does and so on. Yeah. Okay, is a small amount of engagement from an intern better than no engagement? And I love this. And is there a way to know if you're over engaging? Because we did talk about that.
That's a great question. No, you want to, okay. You can't act bored, obviously. But you want to be, very attentive, like, acting interested, and even if maybe there are times you're like, okay, this day is lasting forever, when are we going home? But you want to be engaged that way, and make sure that, yeah, if somebody's like, hey, can you do this for me, can you edit this thing for me, just jump on it and be excited about it. So you kind of, it really depends on who you're working with and what their personality is, because there are people, there are people that you work with in life that they put you at ease immediately, and it's an easy collaboration and you're basically on the same wavelength. Then you have the other bosses that may stress you out because they just either don't stop, and you just, like, I remember one boss telling me, like, it was in the middle of the night and I was working on a project, and he was like, man, I really appreciate you like sticking it out this late all the time, because a lot of people can't handle this. And I'm thinking, while he's saying this, I'm thinking, wow, I was just thinking how I can't do this for very much longer.
Just
So
let
that
me make it through this session. Just
I
this one
know,
session.
because I was like, this guy doesn't stop. Very talented. I was like, I consider myself somewhat of the Energizer Bunny when I'm working, but
Right.
I have to like shut it down at a certain point in order to get back to that energy the next day.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Do you receive a copy of the script or storyboard beforehand? So do you know what tone to go for before receiving the music or receiving the whatever?
I think about half the projects I work on, I get the script before, especially if I've worked with a director before, then they're most likely going to give me the script so we can discuss what to think about ahead of time. We don't so much talk about sound design specifics. It's more about, global feel. This is what the director may be like, this is what I'm going for. And if, obviously if we have an existing relationship, a working relationship, we kind of know, okay, well, this is going to be the direction we're going to go with. But I do enjoy reading the scripts if I can read the scripts beforehand, because I get an idea, and I can also have red flags like, hey, are you gonna you're recording in this location, what are you thinking of? This is going to be super loud. Let's say it's like a beach sequence, or it's at the airport, so I can flag things ahead of time. And but I know when I work on, for example, AFI thesis films, I definitely get the scripts beforehand, and we have lengthy discussions about what the production sound guy should do and what to expect, all the pitfalls and things I've experienced. Because usually they really want to know, just like this person's asking me this question, your student's asking me this question. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to have the script beforehand, but if not, there are many projects I just watch it and I go, well, this is what the movie is, because it usually ends up being slightly different, because of the edits than the script. I mean, it's based on the script, obviously, but it's, it gets recut, and then the scenes move from one location to another. So it's I like it if I get a script. If I don't, I'm okay with it, because when I see it on the screen, that's what we're working with. We're about.
By the way, I'm going to show the students that I didn't include it because it was running. It would have run us overtime, but I can't remember the name of the short that you'd worked on about the couple that go out in the country in the pickup.
Oh, and Sound We Live Forever.
My God, that the sound work on that. Of course, the sound is the star in that, so it's kind of that must have been great fun to do, because you really pulled it off.
It was. I'll tell you why it was difficult, but it was fun. Because Josh, the director, super nice guy, and he was an AFI graduate or alumni, or alum, and so we ended up working on a couple projects after he graduated, and this was one of them. And he scripted out this, what happens, what you don't see, since you've seen the movie, all the things that happen. So that was really helpful for the Foley guys and myself, because he would say at 3 minutes and 40 seconds, I want to hear 3 footsteps, and then they climb on the the bed of the truck, stuff like that. Yeah, we did move things as we started massaging all the elements and all that, but overall he had it very well structured, and that helped the process move along, not fast, but it helped the process because we had something to go with.
I have never seen a film like that. It was a very, very good idea, and it was
That's the
very
director.
tight. He really, I mean, it's well thought out. I'll just say that it's very well thought out and well executed.
I'll
So
let him know.
congratulations. And I think I'm going to tack that on to the end of this so the kids won't be going, what the heck is he talking about? Because it's worth seeing. And we're done. I thanks again. I'm still like I've spent half my time thanking you, Will, but thanks again for
It's my pleasure, and I'm glad I was able to do this. And hopefully this, this helps one of your students or all your students with the future projects thinking about, oh, I have to hire sound guy. Oh yeah, remember what that guy said. You know?
Well, they've agreed to hand over 10% of their salaries to you in the event that they do succeed. So you'll be a wealthy man someday, I'm sure.
All right.
Let's hope so anyway. Well, thanks again, Will. I sure appreciate it. And we'll be in touch.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Have a good spring break.
Thank you so much. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Here we are. This is the spot where I come when I need to clear my head. Get away from it all.
Surprised we made it up here in this old thing.
Oh, my pops keeps it in top condition. God, I love this song.
You're weird.
I'm weird because I like Bach?
Maybe a little.
Let me tell you something. In 200 years, no one will remember who the Stones or Zeppelin were, but they will still know Air on a G string by heart. You can count on it.
All right.
My lady.
Why, thank you, sir.
Here. Cheers.
Cheers.
See that over there?
Yeah?
Bet you I can hit it in 4 tries.
You're on. Oh.
Okay. Almost.
Woo! And the crowd goes wild. He's done it again.
Look at that cloud.
It's beautiful.
Just like you.
You don't mean that.
I do. You're the prettiest, grooviest girl in town.
Really?
Come here.
Wait.
What?
My retainer. Okay. Wait,
What now?
there's someone there.
Where?
There, see?
I see.
What is he wearing?
go. Damn it.
What is it?
Left the headlights on.
Oh, my retainer.
Grab it.
Charlie. Charlie! Charlie!
Hey! Let her go! Run, Meredith!
He's got a knife!
Run! Wait. Wait. Wait.
Charlie. Charlie.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sins now and at the hour of our death. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sins now, at the hour of our death. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mother of God, pray for our sins now, at the hour of our death. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among